We got this ordinary pair of Red Wing Iron Rangers, but we're going to level them up, turn them into absolute tanks with unrivaled grip and performance with Vibram soles. Hey guys, it's so great to be back with you for another video. The channel is steadily growing, so I want to thank all you guys for subscribing and watching. This is Pablo, of course, from Dimar Shoe Repair in Guelph, Ontario, Canada. And we got a pair of Iron Rangers with some very, very grippy, hard soles. This is just a stock boot. So let's rip these babies apart, see what's on the inside, and level them up. And before I start to get my work going, I always got to put my protective apron on. So for a few years now, I've used this beautiful leather apron that was made for me by Dale at Dale's Leather Works in Maryland. Today, I'm going to just switch for this video only because we're working with Vibram soles. I got a Vibram shirt and a little Vibram apron that I'm going to wear today and show off for you guys. Alright guys, so we've taken this boot apart and, you know, standard stock Iron Ranger, so some of you guys probably know what's on the inside. You got a leather footbed, you got a glued on gemming, and that makes a good your welt construction. This boot's not very used, and you can already see that the gemming is separating. So we're going to put some glue in there, reinforce that, put it back in place. The original sole are the cork infused rubber soles, and these are very durable, but more intended for indoor use. So something like what I do at a shop when I'm just on my feet on a regular hard floor, but they are slippery and don't really offer much grip, especially in the winter time. So we're going to level up, like we said, and put on some really, really nice Vibram lug soles and kind of change the look of these, just make them more robust. Other than that, standard steel shank that's covered in a piece of fabric as an anti-squeak. These are the heel rands, which are made from cardboard. So obviously we're going to upgrade these to leather ones. And other than that, let's keep going, add some new welts, and we'll go from there. All right, so we got a couple minutes while that glue dries, and I want to make sure that I put the gemming back on the footbed in the exact same place it was, so I don't change the shape, make the boot bigger or any smaller. And I've been giving you guys some updates with what's new in the shop lately. So right now I want to talk about Boot Camp. Boot Camp is an event that's run by Stitch Down. They're like an online platform that brings together the community lovers of shoes and boots and leather goods. So they're hosting the 3rd annual Stitch Down Boot Camp event, and this year it's going to be in Chicago. Steve from Beatles Leatherworks and myself, we're going to have a booth again that's going to be representing the shoe repair industry. So we did a booth last year and it was really, really cool. We had a lot of people come by. We were displaying kind of our resole work, and we also had these jack stands here, which we work on boots. So we were doing live welting demonstrations, and it was really cool and popular. In a moment, I'll show you guys some of my work that I did bring to boot camp. And if anyone's interested, Chicago, November 8th, it's a huge event. Anyone who loves leather and boots is going to be there. So please do come and support this really cool community and this really cool event. So this is an example of the repair work that we'll be displaying at boot camp. This is a blue marbled shell cordovan boot from Meerman. And as you see, I recrafted this with Dr. Soul green soles, leather midsoles, new welts. Just a beautiful, beautiful, unique leather. Just completely transformed this boot and this model. This was a pair on display last year too. This is a Parkhurst model, the Allen boot. This was originally 360 stitched. I converted it to a 270 stitch and just made a tighter heel seat here. New leather heel bases. Did some nice vintage cat's paw half sole, built right half soles and Dr. Soul heels with our Dimar logo there and some brass nails. So yeah, we're going to have more display work. We're going to be educating anyone who comes to our booth about repair and what's possible and just give our knowledge about the industry. Very proud to do that. Who else goes to boot camp? It's all of the top makers in the world. So we got Nick's Handmade Boots, Grant Stone, Vibram was there in 2023, but they're not going to be there this year, I don't think. Blkbrd Shoemaker, Russell Moccasins, all sorts of really, really cool custom boot makers. You can get size. They'll have live demonstrations. You can learn how to hand welt, how to make your own belts, leather goods. You're going to do a tour of the Horween leather factory. So this is going to be really, really off the chains. So please do come out and support this lovely industry that we're all a part of. All right, so we're going to be installing new natural flat welts. I put a little bit of wax on this guy here. And we got our wax thread, and yeah, this is the most vigorous process of the Recraft, but it's much needed as we're going to give this boot a brand new look. All right guys, so we'll let that glue dry. We'll hammer in our shanks and go from there. But in the meantime, I have another big surprise for you guys. Well guys, in July, I won a really big award in the shoe repair world. The SSIA, which stands for the Shoe Service Institute of America, held their biannual Silver Cup contest. So essentially in the Silver Cup contest, you take 2 pairs of shoes. This is the right from one pair and the left from the other pair. And I picked really beat up shoes. Like, these were trashed. And they're both Allen Edmonds. Not a crazy design or anything. I thought maybe I'd keep it a little bit more simple because I've never entered a contest like this before. And it turns out that I was awarded the gold trophy, which is the highest honor you can get, which is a step below the Silver Cup, which was won by my friend Luke in Minnesota. So congratulations to Luke George. This would be the finished product. This is my full sole job. So straightforward job, just kind of went clean and simple with a JR sole, Vibram heel. Did a lot of careful work on the edges, make sure everything was smooth and taken care of. So you can see kind of the before and after on these guys. So I scored really well on the full sole job. The half sole job, I didn't do as well because I never do half soles. So this was definitely the harder one to do. But the original shoe was really trash, caked with salt. So it was a challenge to restore the leather uppers. So I had to use some acrylic dye to get the finish back. And I think it darkened them just a bit too much. So I think I lost some points on that. But overall, the half sole job wasn't too bad either. And it was high enough to score, again, a gold trophy. So I remember the first convention I went to for the SSIA. That was back in 2017 in Long Beach, California. And I was nowhere near the level I am now skill-wise. And I remember seeing the Silver Cup contest shoes all laid out, all the people who won trophies, whether it be a bronze, silver, gold, or the one person who wins the Silver Cup. And that was really inspiring to me. I saw the level of craftsmanship that I wanted to get to. So fast forward to 2025 and all the hard work I put in, here I am with my very own gold award for the SSIA Silver Cup contest. So a very proud moment and definitely one of the highlights in my career. Okay guys, so we're coming along very smoothly with the Recraft. We got our new hand sewn welts put on, steel shanks, and our cork filler. And the next step is to put our leather components on. So over the years, I've bought leather soles, leather midsoles, leather heel bases, and so on from different suppliers, from different parts of the country, different countries. And I finally found a supplier of leather who is fantastic and can make anything I want. So for example, he's making me these very beautiful leather Italian midsoles. I can get different thicknesses. This is a 4.5 millimeter thickness, so it's perfect for this job. And I also got him to make leather heel rands. So as I mentioned earlier, the heel rand was cardboard. So we're going to be upgrading to this beautiful leather. The best part is that this leather and the leather midsole are all the same cut. So it's the same leather from Italy, same finish, same color, everything. And then the best part on top of that is I get the heel bases now from the same supplier, and it matches everything perfectly. So when you're sanding your edges and doing your finishings, there's no variances in the leather. For example, if you have a chestnut tanned leather and you're going to be putting that chestnut tanned with the oak bark tanned, you're going to have a red color and a dark color, and it's going to kind of clash. So I'm very awesomely happy that we found this leather supplier who can kind of make me anything I want. And the reason I reached out to him is because it turns out that he has been supplying Vibram with all their leather components for years. So I knew right away if they're good enough for Vibram, then they're definitely good enough for me. All right, guys, now the next step doesn't seem anything flashy or fancy. I'm just going to glue this leather midsole to the shoe, to the boot. But I do want to just touch on a second about a new gluing technique that we learned from Tony Wyatt from Pro Cobblers in North Carolina. Before, what I thought was the proper way to glue, and it wasn't the wrong way, but it wasn't the most efficient way. So the way we used to do it would be we apply one coat of glue to the leather, let it dry for 20 minutes or so, and then apply a second coat, and then once that's tacky, we can attach it to whatever we're gluing to. But Tony taught me that you can actually do 2 coats at once. So you apply your first coat on each item, and then right away you apply the next coat. So that way the first coat doesn't dry and create kind of a hard skim on the surface. This way they're kind of drying together and you're still getting the same strength that you would from 2 coats. So I just wanted to say thank you to Tony Wyatt at Pro Cobblers for a very, very helpful tip. So there's coat 1, and before what we would do at the shop is we would let it dry for at least 20 minutes, but now we're able to just go right ahead and apply our second coat. Like so, and in about 5 to 7 minutes, the glue is going to dry, get really tacky, and then we can just press our soles. This has saved us a huge amount of time in our production. So again, thank you very much, Tony. All right, it's everyone's favorite part of the video. What boots am I wearing today? So last year, again, at boot camp, right across from our booth was Blkbrd Shoemaker. These guys are from India and they're making hand welted and stitched down boots to a very, very high quality with very, very precision craftsmanship. So I talked to one of the gentlemen from Blkbrd and essentially got down to purchasing a pair of navy horse rump boots. This is a cap toe with a Dr. Sole half sole and Dr. Sole heel, double stitch down construction. I was able to try on a couple of different models at their booth and figure out my exact size. The sizing is spot on, the craftsmanship is quite nice, and the price point is very, very attractive. So they will be again at boot camp this coming year, 2025. Once again, Blkbrd shoemaker, and they are starting to make quite a bit of noise in the shoemaking world because they're offering very, very high quality leathers like this navy horse rump here at a very, very attractive price. So one thing I like to do is put my own little personal touch on a pair of boots or shoes that we rebuild or resole. So for this pair, I'm going to make some custom paracord laces from scratch. Alright guys, I know you've been on the edge of your seat wondering what kind of Vibram rubber I'm going to put on. I talked about grip and performance and making these into a beast mode boot. So we have none other than the Vibram 100 full sole, but in the fire and ice compound. Now most people are using just the regular Vibram 100 compound, which is totally good. It's Vibram's SBR compound. But this fire and ice compound is incredible in winter on ice and wet situations. That's the ice part of it. And then the fire part of it is it can handle really, really hot extreme temperatures and not lose its performance or function. So we've been offering this fire and ice package for a very, very long time at our shop. So that's what we're going to do with this pair. And we also have the matching Vibram 100 fire and ice heels. So it's that same special compound from rubber. That's going to go on the heels as well to make sure this customer can walk through the rough, harsh Canadian winters with confidence. So this is what happens when you hang out with Steve from Beatles Leatherworks. He rubs off on you in different ways. So obviously on the theme of boot camp, last year it was a really cool experience for him and I flew into Washington, D.C. His shop is about 20-30 minutes away from the airport there. Spent the night at his place, and then we drove from the DC area all the way to Brooklyn, New York, which is about a 6-hour drive. And we did stop on the freeway and make his world famous Armenian coffee. And every day we'd make coffee in the hotel room, or he'd make it for me. So when I came back, I bought myself a little coffee maker like him, and got the very, very fine Turkish ground coffee. And I've been using this thing ever since, so I thought it'd be a nice little shout out to Steve at Betos. You know what? This is the best cup of Armenian coffee that I've ever had in my life. Hands down, the best. Don't tell Steve that. All right, so I just got through the sanding process. This job is almost done. So when I do my sanding and edges, I essentially go through 4 different steps. Step 1 is on my 24 grit, which is the very aggressive, strong sandpaper, which will kind of trim everything flush. And then I hop onto a 100 grit sandpaper on my finisher, which will start to smooth things out and get a nice evenly set finish. And then I hop onto what's called a Scotch Brite wheel, which is a very, very fine felt pad. And that really smooths things out, starts to give it a really nice finish. And then my last step, number 4, is block sanding by hand. This is about a 400 grit sandpaper, and this really gives it a really smooth, very glossy finish. So yeah, it takes more time to get your finished product looking like this, but it's totally worth it. You know, these are the little things that the customers of mine look for, and that's why they trust me with this. So I'm proud to put the extra work and do the extra steps to get these results. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. We transformed generic stock Red Wing Iron Ranger 8111 into an absolute tank. New welts, leather midsoles, Vibram 100, fire and ice soles, so this can take on any terrain, any weather, doesn't matter. This is going to handle it. Matching heels in the fire and ice compound, leather heel stack, beautiful clean dogger heel finish, and of course some custom Dimar Shoe Repair paracord laces in beautiful red. If you guys like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you guys next time on the next project.